The book of Isaiah chapter 9, and the point is verse 16, and it reads, I'm going to start up. Isaiah 9 and verse 14, therefore the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua will cut off from Israel head and tail, branch and rush in one day. The ancient and honorable, he is the head, and the prophet that teacheth lies, he is the tail. For the leaders of this people cause them to err, and they that are led of them are destroyed. I want to start off by giving all praise, all honor, all glory to call Elohim Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Hakudash. I want to say double honors to the elders and to the apostles that I learned this truth from. Peace and salutations to the Akim, cause the four corners of the earth pushing this truth with faith and with sincerity, as well as risking their lives, as well as the freedom to do so now more so than ever. Shalom to the Akim and Aqua that they're listening and learning, Lord willingly. This is edifying. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad in the land of other nations appearing like the other nations, but whom subscribe to this truth to you. I say Shalom. It's Brother Yahweh coming at you with another lesson through the Spirit and through the power of Yahweh. Hashem Yahushua Yahweh, meaning he exists or he to be. Hashem, Ba'as in Hazda, Hashem his name. Yahushua, meaning he saves or he deliverer. True names of the Most High God and His Son, whose people ignorantly call God and Jesus Christ, whose true name in the Paleo Hebrew is Yahweh. Hashem Yahushua. This lesson is inspired by, I was just scrolling and came across this video. I told you I get a lot of feeds of the guy A.B. Adrian Broner, the boxer, and it's a guy named Dean the Great, which he's also a boxer. Of course, he's not as known as Adrian Broner, but the thing is, he's known in the streaming world. Basically, the Lord had those two individuals come together. Backstory is pretty much, I guess, Dean the Great looked up to him, and Dean the Great's coach knew Adrian Broner. Now, basically, he's the reason why Adrian Broner is back in the limelight. Because Dean the Great reached out to him and pretty much he did some solid shit. Like he put him back together, you know what I mean? But the thing is, like Adrian Broner said, he said, what is his name? Iron Mike is Iron Mike Tyson's name. Pretty Boy Floyd or Floyd well, yeah, you gotta remember Mayweather changed his name. His name was Pretty Boy, but then he changed it to Money Mayweather. So you got these different, like Devin the Dream, which I don't like Devin. But, I forgot Tank's name. But long story short, so Adrian Broner's is the problem, the problem. But it's entertainment, and to show you how this is all set up, this streaming shit, because, Adrian Broner's a nigga, so I can relate. Well, I can't say I can relate because I try not to. The old man's supposed to be dead. What I'm saying is I relate to the fact I've met people like him. You know what I mean? And it just shows you a lot. Like, folly is set in great dignity here. Matter of fact, let me get that. And it reads, folly is set in great dignity and the rich sit in low place. Folly, those that's on, bread and circus is elevated in this place. There's truth, because we rich in the gospel. We rich on faith, scripture talk about poor but rich in faith, you know what I mean? Which, Isaiah chapter 10 popped in my head, I'm gonna butcher it. But point being, it's talking about the poor, because we poor in this world as far as financially, but we rich in faith. And when, the Lord is so cold, I was just watching a video because it's an older video, and it was some brothers, and they was talking to this. She appeared to be an Edomite woman, but she was so, it's so spiritual how some people just literally sit up there and they don't buck up to it. Or, you had people that appear to be Esau, Edom, and they humble with the fact that, like, pretty much she was saying she had a dream where she pretty much everybody, all so-called white people and herself included was serving Jake. I forgot what camp it was. I didn't watch the whole thing, but the point was you got from time to time that the Lord puts a spirit on these Idumeans to actually literally just like, edify. I remember the brother from Houston, he was He was saying, I remember they pretty much an Edomite bowed down and was gonna kiss their shoes and whatnot. And Jake was so he was taken aback for it. He was like, I don't know if that's an Edomite because he was like he too humble, you know. And Esau Edom ain't gonna really, you know what I mean. Maybe when they broken, and you got to remember they gonna have to get burnt up. So you know, but yeah. So this place people elevate, you know, simplicity, stupidity, you know, folly, you know. That's why the guy AB and Dean pretty much are like considered like some of the top streamers in the world right now because, you know, people enjoy folly. People misery. I ain't gonna say misery love company, but people enjoy folly. You got people that sit and watch people just eat food. I'm talking about. I mean, just some of the most dumbest shit. Just showing you how slowed down everybody is. You know, well, you got real life changes, situations happening day by day. Yeah, you got tens of thousands of people that are missing. So pretty much, you might as well, you know, hope and hope. But at the same time, you know, if they ain't, you got to think about it. Even if a person didn't die, but they trapped them under rubble, days going without food and sunlight and water, that's gonna kill you. That's a horrible death, and that's why you should fear Yahweh Shem Yahushua. But to stay on point, you know, I was watching the video. It just, again, most of our people, they look up to things that this world have to offer, you know. But the scriptures say, love not the world or the things in the world, you know, because this world will blind you, like DJ Trump, you know what I mean? You know, like for instance, perfect example, you know, like they creating a system where pretty much they talk about UBI, universal basic income. And people are like, yeah, so that means I won't have to work and I'll be taken care of and we just gonna get to sit back and chill, when in actuality, you'll be the product. Think about that shit. You're gonna be the product. This how bugged out I mean, the resources on the earth that, I mean, I don't, you know, again, when you sit back and really try to think about it, it's kind of overwhelming. Because the way my brain works, I'm trying to figure out why. You know, like that my brain, why, nigga? But it's like, nigga, it's just some of the most, like the elder always say, this is the dumbest, most stupidest, bugged out plan ever. But the lessons based off of it, because I saw a video and just show you how Jake is so fucking, you know, the ones that the Jake. The 2/3 Jakes that's in positions from politics to entertainment, you know, they you know, they're doing better than Jake, and they don't want to go back to poverty. You know, you got a lot of entertainers that you think is actually living a certain kind of way, but they still in the streets or they working a 9 to 5. I remember seeing a video they was talking about Bow Wow was working at like Walmart and shit like that. You know what I mean? This place is a whole illusion. But again, you know, the leaders of because our people are led by who they see on TV. If you got a platform or a position, and you know, I went to Walmart yesterday and a dude got mad at Jake because it was an Edomite too, and you know, I overstepped my boundaries, but the reason why I stepped in because I didn't want the motherfucker to ask me the same question. The Edomite asked Jake, "Do you want to donate 22% to such and such charity?" So he like, no. So dude asked him like 2 more times. So I'm like, damn, what the fuck wrong with him? He like, no. So he like, okay, well, he like, it's only 22 cents. So he was like, well, I'm pretty sure Walmart got more money than me. And I'm like, well, damn, dude, kind of like overstepping his boundaries. Once you said no the first time, that should have been enough. Who are you to dictate what this man got? So then he said some crazy shit. But I'm like, you don't even know if that money go there. He like, I'm pretty much a smart guy. I went to college. And I was just like, that show you how foolish you is right there, thinking you smart because you went to college. You know what I mean? I'm like, first of all, you don't know if that money go there just because they told you it went there. Like, you know how many times, what's that shit called? Not Salvation Army, but Red Cross. Red Cross pretty much raised up all kind of money from donations and whatnot. They've been said that Red Cross was pretty much like taking off or like misappropriating the funds. You know, that's a lot of places, you know, like in California, you know, they don't want you to give the money directly, just like in Cleveland. They don't want you to give the money directly to the homeless, but you never know if the homeless go actually see the money. And I'm a firsthand witness to that. Because like I said, I made a statement about it previously, I've been around, like for instance, spilling the tea. Like literally, you got a lot of different homeless coalitions and programs in our state, well, in our city or our county rather, But a lot of the people that's behind the scenes that's dealing with that, they got money. I know this for a fact. I mean, why you think I was gonna leave Cleveland and go to? Well, I left Cleveland, you know. But the point being, and a lot of the people that they got, it's just like a whole, like everything is like not staged, but everything is like some kind of money making scheme. You get what I'm saying? It's some kind of wickedness involved with everything, even if it's considered righteous. The only righteous thing that's actually going forth on the planet is the men of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua bringing forth his truth, this word, his word. Everything else is most likely corrupted. Shit, this place, Salakia, hell, this place is so corrupted. You got individuals that call themselves men of the Lord that's trying to corrupt the truth. Like the elder said, changing the doctrine. And I don't speak on that man because I don't know that man. But at the same time, that's a wicked individual. So if you, because again, a man really has only his integrity. You can't even say your woman yours, your children yours, because this world will show you that the Lord could have Esau, Edom take them away. The woman will leave you. Esau, Edom could take your children. I was telling my sister about how they got a law in this county, in the city of Cleveland where I stay. Pretty much if it's an incident at the school, they don't have to release your children. She looked it up. You can't find the shit. I literally actually had to go through this shit. Personally, the Lord took me through it. But you telling me I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about? The school system that my children in is like impoverished. It's a ghetto, it's the, 2/3 school type shit. And literally, and the Lord want that to happen because every time I've tried to put them in a different kind of school, it's like the Lord not allowing that. So, you got to understand the will of the Lord. But I watch like they be like, they'll give you a call. Yeah, it's such and such as a code blue, a code, these different codes and shit. And based on how they feel is if they release them or not. So say for instance, something happened. And that was the one reason why I didn't want to put them in an actual school. That's why I tried to homeschool. But, your arms ain't long enough to box the Lord. You know what I mean? It's going to play out the way the Lord have to play out. I just did a lesson about that. It's going to be as the Lord going to do his pleasure. Salaki, I'm a little bit all over the place. So I'm going to play this. But first, let me play this copyright disclaimer. I just had to, what? Salaki.
Customer comes in.
Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of Copyright Act 1976, fair use. So let me play this.
Don't get high on your own supply. That's why I sell 3.5s, but not the 3.5s you want. They white. I sold. No, I sold. Everybody knows GTA. Sold. GTA. That's the thing. Video game. All right, GTA. I'm AI.
And to show you, okay, so if you're familiar with this guy, he's a rapper, Bobby Shmurda. I don't even know the song he made. What he's most known for is pretty much the crew he's hanging with. He from New York, he a New Yorker. But the crew he's hanging with pretty much, I guess got all caught up. And he was solid, to the point where he didn't tell him this, he didn't do a 6ix9ine. He went and did the time and came home. So that's why he's going to get a certain type of recognition. But at the same time, that's folly. You know what I mean? Again, think about this. If everything's being tracked and traced, how are you going to do anything illicit or illegal? You're going to have to be all the way juiced in, I was watching something on YouTube where they were showing how the police had a drone watching the motherfucker hustle. And they got that now. I think it was in Garfield. There's a video floating around here, and I meant to do a lesson on it, but I forgot. Where it was a police officer from Garfield, and he spilling the beans. He like shit. They got the technology. They pretty much, if a gun goes off, they can pretty much pinpoint where the bullet came from. Because all of this technology they got placed all around these different areas, and really they mainly focused and set up in Jake neighborhoods, like it's always been. But yet and still, you got 2/3 of Jake that want to hold on to this place. You got a nigga that'll sit up there and get this dude is so stupid, he self-incriminated himself. And don't get me wrong, he probably geeking, but like lights, cameras, action, niggas don't even try to talk around other people. I've seen it happen, emotions get involved. That's why a dangerous individual is a person that can keep their emotions in check. Like Frank Lucas. Frank Lucas was a very violent individual, but how he would catch a lot of people off guard was before he committed his violence, he'd smile at you. It's a term called crocodile tears. Or when a pit bull, not all of them, but I've seen some, before they go to bite, they'll smile. Because the way that they mouth shape, it'll appear like a smile, but it's not really a smile. That's why the scriptures talk about being circumspect. But this guy wasn't circumspect, but yet still, he's going to still have a huge amount of people following him, because our people like to follow the shiny shit. What glitters and what they think is gold. But this man ain't going to be gold in the time of trouble. Individuals like these three individuals is going to do whatever. Like I can't think of dude's name, but it's a guy, I'm speaking on Charleston White. He said, this nigga has no integrity. I don't like Charleston White either, so, I had to listen to the dude speaking on it. He was like, this nigga sit up there and change his own stance in order to stay relevant. This the same nigga that raised up money for that guy, Carmelo Anthony, and then kept the money. So, fuck 2/3.
Don't play it. Yo, this is on streaming. Don't get high on your own supply.
This nigga telling you, so that shows he's not making no money off music. And if you pay attention to what they're doing, a lot of these entertainers, in order to stay relevant, they're coming on, these different streaming platforms. And then they talk about, you see how much money I'm making? You see how much money I'm making? The people making money off of it, wonder why? Because you see too many entertainers getting involved with it. From Ryan Garcia. Now I'm questioning him. I liked it, Ryan, because of just like this attitude that then I seen how quick he was. At the end of the day, you could tell he Jake, but he a different kind of Jake. But now I am questioning, like, well, damn, hold up. Is you involved? You did all this, conspiracy theory shit, you did Illuminati shit, but he got a whole CNI on his hand. So again, you can't trust nothing in this world. Scriptures say, cursed be the man that trusts in a man. The only thing you can trust in is Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. You can trust in certain brothers, and you got to discern. I can't even say discern that, because betrayal is going to come with this thing. And that's just fact. So spiritual, I was listening to the brothers, particularly, I try not to say brothers camps and whatnot, but I was listening, and I was just saying something out. I was on the highways and hedges about, trying to break down, who we are as a people, and, all these different things. We passed that time, but that's not true, because the brother had to break it down to Idumea, an Edomite, which he was in the spirit. That's what got all these people butt hurt. They're not included. We wasn't included in all these different things. You know what I mean? We've been excluded majority of the time since we've been here. You know what I mean? But now, because we say you excluded from salvation in the kingdom of heaven, now everybody butt hurt. That shit is hilarious.
That's why I sell 3.5s, but not the 3.5
Nigga, you don't see that shiny ass camera, lights and all that? Like, what's wrong with these niggas? So I couldn't follow no nigga like that. Like, nigga, you ain't even nobody got you frustrated. You just want to brag. You want to be exalted. I remember they showed him, it was on somebody's stream, they saw him driving. This nigga wasn't in no fancy dancy car, and I ain't saying you gotta be. You know what I mean? Bill Gates wears shit from Target. You know what I mean? We got all that motherfucking money. So it's not about that. You know what I mean? Tupac used to say, dressing down like a bummy, but only on the block. He said he dressing down like he looked like he getting high. He said, because that was a disguise. But it's, times have changed so much. I mean, again, you're not about to be able to do nothing in secret because everything is being tracked, traced, and monitored. And again, you got these dudes acting like, again, when you get into the whole, in order to like elevate to a point in the criminal world, don't get me wrong, you got certain individuals that's so talented or good at what they're doing that they don't actually they're not connected with the law. But for the most part, like a lot of these drug rings and all that is all like set up, like they it's a network. Why do you think individuals certain people like Big Meech they didn't never caught him with no drugs. It was just the fact that they said he did it. And they said he still had the tail to get out of that shit. Because you're dealing with the government. You know what I'm saying? Like, and if they can flex that kind of authority, why don't you think they can come down with great wrath against? Because you got to understand, they in their minds, because we're speaking against their narrative, is considered sedition.
They white. I sold. No, I sold. Everybody.
Now you're trying to say I sold, but you already incriminate yourself.
GTA.
Video game.
All right, GTA. I'm AI.
All they can say is I'm AI. With that goofy ass. I know a nigga look just like this nigga. Know a nigga look just like that nigga. I ain't gonna say he act just like that nigga. But that nigga look just like that nigga. Jake. And that shit, I bet you he wouldn't be smiling if the feds, just like with AB, you know how many times he done threatened people, all kind of little like goofy shit he done did on there. And like I said, at any time, being that this is recorded, they could blow back down on you. He talking about, I done did this, I done did that. I mean, it's a statute of limitations on certain stuff, but he's threatening people on camera. They said one of the people that he was threatening might have been an undercover cop. How would the undercover cop know that he was there? You don't know if they sent him. You know what I mean? Because they usually call ahead because it's an entourage of people. But Jake is simple. So let me bring out these scriptures and then. So what's this? Isaiah chapter 30. Isaiah chapter 3 and verse 12. I'm going to start up. Verse 11, woe unto the wicked, it shall be ill with him, for the reward of his hands shall be given him. I like that. It says, verse 11 in the NLT, but the wicked are doomed, for they will get exactly what they deserve. As for my people, children are their oppressors, and women rule over them. And, the Israelite man has been broken down. You got to take time to think about it. Our children, well, I don't let my children rule over me. And usually that's why I don't want a woman, because it's like a spirit that follows me. You know what I mean? Like Satan be trying to catch me up, because now all of a sudden, it's funny. I never went through this when I was in the world. Only when I came into the truth. Now you got these super opinionated ass ones. They all believers. They all see what's happening, but everybody opinion. Nah, I don't know shit. You know what I mean? You're going to expect me to do miracles and shit, but I don't know shit at this moment. When you don't like, what I mean? Again, I got to suffer your shit, but you can't even. So again, and that's why I move the way I move in a lot of aspects. You know what I'm saying? We too late in the game to be caught up in the same shit that you got caught up when you first came with the truth. Fuck no. You know what I mean? Like, no. But you got a lot of men that's pretty much bowed down to, you got a lot of men that left the truth for their women and their children. It's a rare occasions when men lose, the whole family. I know a few, a lot of men that probably don't even speak on it because, that's a sensitive subject. You know what I mean? Because one of the things that a man in period, some men ain't shit for real, but they'll say Jake ain't shit, but you got a lot of men that'll sit up there and try to suffer the woman and children, you know what I mean, and go through shit trying to see their children. It'd be to the point where they realize, there's no point. And then that's just the woman holding this much power over on this side and really showing you how wicked a woman is, because again, she'll sacrifice the child's happiness and what a child needs, because a child needs both parents, because she's upset at this man because he didn't do what she think he's supposed to do. But she thinks she in perfect order. She thinks she gonna get with another man, and then she waiting to throw the shit up in your face. What the funniest part is, a lot of these, and a lot of women that have that mindset, they don't ever get the man that they think they supposed to get. They get a nigga they tolerate, or a nigga that's worse than the one that she thought was the one she had to upgrade from. It's like a never-ending cycle. But the beautiful part about it is, being that all these prophecies are popping off like popcorn, once the Lord comes and set things in order, this woman will never be out of order again. Like the elder said, barefoot and pregnant. So you ain't got too much to motherfucking say. You got to shut the fuck up, because you know what I mean? And then we gonna be in positions where, the way men ruled in the ancient world, they wasn't around they woman or children all 24/7 a day. It's like some Coming to America type shit. And then you got people that like can't envision that. They don't even want to like rock like that. They want to. You got motherfuckers sitting up there barely can. You know how hard it is to have children right now today. When you got people trying to work 2 and 3 jobs, and you know what I mean, like, you got a motherfucker fighting for that though. I mean, people foolish. But it says that's my people, children are their oppressors and women rule over them. And you got to think about it. You got a lot of these women politicians. You got to think about a lot of these politicians are childlike. Shit, again, the leaders of these people calls them the heir. And a lot of our people look to the entertainers and the people that's on TV as their leaders. Jay-Z, T.I., anybody, Denzel, anybody in that limelight can say something. Shit, Charleston White. When Charleston White, he might say something profound once or twice, like the brother always used to bring out that saying, a broke cock is right twice out the day. But at the same time, if you pay attention, he'll say some contradictory, he'll just say anything. And a lot of people, I've seen this nigga get stopped on the street as if he like somebody for real. And you just a nigga just talking shit. You got to be a really foolish person to just believe this man at face value when this nigga sat up there and would tell you some of the shit he did, will do, and has done. You went and did some shit and did. So if he could say fuck his homie, his best friend, you don't think he'll say fuck you? And when he just took that boy money, you ain't gonna get a boy no money. Oh, that's a whole demon. And there's a guy named Smackwater, because before they had Charleston White, they had Smackwater. Just go look him up if you choose to. I ain't gonna say I challenge you. Things that's of import, I say challenge. If you just curious about something, I say go check it out. Smackwater be talking, he be popping corn and shit, but he don't like Charleston White because Charleston White has something to say about him. And at the end, they like, why these niggas be, again, he like the dude that. Because it's a guy named Pops that Charleston White look up to. And he like the guy Pops, he's solid. He said, I'm trying to figure out why the fuck he fuck with that nigga. He like this dude. And again, a man is only as good as his word. A man might not have much, but a man is supposed to have integrity. And if you don't got that, then you ain't a real man. And I'm saying that I don't believe Charleston White is a real man. Because like the dude said, he said he'll change his opinion. So if a dude will change his opinion, he'll do anything for money. He might even toot over. It says, and women rule over them, oh my people, oh my people, they which lead thee cause thee to err and destroy the way of thy paths. In the NLT, it says, oh my people, your leaders mislead you. They send you down the wrong road. This dude is up here promoting, he's selling drugs. But to show you how He's trying to tell you this how I do it, and he's promoting it. But this nigga's so stupid, he's incriminated. And again, I guarantee you, he got somebody listening to him more than we got people listening to us. And that's why I said, you got people, our people quick to run and do wickedness. Bear with me for a second. Matthew chapter 15. So, did I get that already? Exodus chapter 23 and verse 2, and it reads, "Thou shalt not follow a multitude to do evil, neither shalt thou speak in a cause to decline after many to wrest judgment." Point is, follow not the multitude to do evil. So like I said again, these individuals is promoting a lot. Like for instance, you're going to have a lot of people that's going to run to go get to see him. Like a lot of people ran to go get that jump shot. And what was the result of that? A lot of people lost their lives. Now, I know people that, got the jump shot and pretty much they still functioning and moving around and whatnot. But, you got to, the Lord can do whatever you want, the Lord sustaining us and we eating poison. But, at the end of the day, that's why you got to stay prayed up daily. More than daily. It's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times a day. It's the book of 2 Corinthians, chapter 4 and verse 4. And it reads, because again, people are blinded by what this world has to offer, and especially 2/3 of the nation of Israel. A lot of, our people that are in, these elevated positions are 2/3. Because again, if they really serve the Lord as they is the elect, they would literally leave and do the will of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Now, don't get me wrong. It's some amazing brothers. You never know who is who in this truth, because brothers be so humble. But the Lord, that's how you know. That's how I know. I can speak for myself first and foremost. That's how I know this is the truth, because you got men, like I said, I met men that got a lot going on in Babylon, but those men aren't like worldly men. I met men that had money. You know what I'm talking about? Like, what brother, I ain't gonna say which city. I went to a city, brother had a mansion. But the Lord, the Lord, how am I gonna word this? The Lord knows what gifts to give to whom. Again, I always say that, Satan offered me some shit, what I mean? But if, if I was in the world, or if I was in this truth with a lot of money, would I still be in the truth? Everybody ain't got the spirit to still do the will and work of Yahweh Shem Yahushua with certain possessions. This is the book of 2 Corinthians 4 and verse 4. In whom, Salakia, I'm going to start at verse 3. But if our gospel be hid, it is hid to them that are lost. And 2/3 of the nation of Israel are lost. And a lot of the celebrities are lost. They get excited, or they've heard and they understand that they Israel, but they not trying to, maybe they secret disciples. I could believe you got some secret disciples out there. I could see certain individuals literally donating money. I could see certain things, but at the same time, it's like the Lord didn't want a person of prestige in this world to be the spokesperson or be the face of the truth. Because it's not meant for everybody. If everybody was to see Jay-Z saying this, or this person is saying, Denzel said that, Denzel said, Yahweh Shem Yahushua, people, you have them flocking in droves. But the truth ain't for everybody. Verse 4, in whom the God of this world hath blinded the minds of them which believe not, lest the light of the glorious gospel of Mashiach, who is the image of the Most High, should shine unto them. So the Lord purposely blinded a lot of people in order to judge them. Verse Matthew chapter 5, Matthew chapter 15, and verse I'm going to start at verse 13. But he answered and said, every plant which my heavenly Father hath not planted shall be rooted up. So you got some individuals that are not even going to walk this walk, and you got some that call themselves Israelites, but they not really of the Father. You got false prophets. You got those that were set up to mislead the congregation. And that's a hell of a lot to fall upon you if you call yourself a man of the Lord, but you teaching a false doctrine, or you leading the people astray. Think about how wicked you got to be understanding the severity of this. And if you don't understand the severity of it, but you got a position, then either you a sellout or you shouldn't be in your position. Verse 14, let them alone. They be blind leaders of the blind. And if the blind lead the blind, both shall fall into the ditch. So a lot of these entertainers, again, you see, this the new thing. They taking these young streamers, these young jakes that's impoverished from the hood, giving them a little bit of money. They getting a little bit of attention. And, I guess it's more entertaining because of the fact that, you got this younger generation. I was just listening to somebody speak on that they said they want the younger generation to actually bring forth this system because the older generation is pretty much stuck in their ways. So the younger generation would be all for, we can sit back and play video games and get high and be slaves. That's what this world, and this NWO, this New World Order, has to offer. Pretty much everybody that's not on the elite level. And think about this. If the elder always brings that up, he said Trump is a little guy. So if an individual that got millions of dollars like DJ Trump is a little guy, just imagine how much, what I mean? How much how far that ladder is going to go from, who all going to have to be pretty much subjected to this system. I'm going to end it with this, 1 John. And that's why scriptures say, love not the world or the things that's in the world. 1 John chapter 2, verse 15, and it reads, subtitle, do not love the world. Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him. Let's look at the word world. Because I don't think it's just three worlds. Because I know it's cosmos, aeon, and I just looked it up yesterday too. Oh, it's cosmos.
Strong's G 2889. Cosmos. So
it's talking about the whole inhabited earth. It says, love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. So that means not to love your children, not to love your possessions. The only thing you should love is Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. Well, I ain't gonna say that because you're supposed to love your father. I mean, you can love your father and your mother and you can love your children. But I'm saying you can't put that love for them greater than the love for the Heavenly Father. Because the Lord gonna test a lot of men that call themselves in His truth with that. I can see that. I was tested with it from the get-go. And I can see before the end that I'll be tested with it again. The Lord will try you in His truth. And trust me, I know everybody got their testimony, but it's like the elder said, he said, I drank it so much it tasted sweet. He said, learn to love the bitter. And it was the way he said it. I was like, that, because he meant that. So somebody with a mindset like that, they ain't gonna be shaking when, that's why the Lord know what He's doing by who He put as the true leaders of Israel. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him. For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh and the lust of the eyes, and that's what a lot of these leaders, these politicians, these entertainers, they love what's in this world. The lust of the flesh, the eyes. So it says the lust of the flesh and the lust of the eyes and the pride of life is not of the Father, but is of the world. I'm going to reread that in the NLT. For the world offers only a craving for physical pleasure, a craving for everything we see, and pride in our achievements and possessions. These are not from the Father, but are from this world. Verse 17, and the world passeth away. You're going to have to leave this shit. You know what I mean? When you put in that position of that MO, if you're gonna take that micro C hip, your possessions ain't gonna matter. It ain't gonna mean shit. You know? Shit. I mean, in a state of war, the government could come and take your house, your car, all your possessions. They could take your fucking food. Fuck you and your family. That's how they look at it. People don't even understand or realize that. And the world passeth away and the lust thereof, but he that doeth the will of the Most High abideth forever. And those that literally, are of his, gonna live forever. You know what I mean? A lot of brothers in the spirit, it's almost over with, and you can see something major is about to happen. You can feel it. And if you can't feel it, I suggest you pray. You know what I mean? I suggest you fast. I suggest you get and do something spiritual. I was hearing the elder brother say, he said, hold on. He was like, because, it is a hard time right now. So that lets you know Satan getting busy. And I can attest to that. Like, this has been one of the worst years of this truth I've had. You know what I mean? I'm like, God damn, just everything happening? I'm talking about shit. Yeah, man, I'm like, what the fuck? But at the same time, it's and no one to solidify that. Your boy Vocab, or like the elders called him Hocab pop out of nowhere, just something like, hey. Like, hey, what's happening? Goddamn demon. I hope the Lord got a special present for that dude, a special reward. Piece of shit ass motherfucker. Like the elders say, you literally just sitting up here trying to spy on us, but then coming like you befriending us. Edomite, you know what I'm saying? Idumean. So with that, I'm gonna end the lesson. Lord willing, you got some kind of edification out of it. Salakia for being so long-winded. If you're so-called Black, Hispanic, Native American, Seminole Indian, West Indian, or Haitian, I implore you to come back to the laws, statutes, and commandments of your power, whose true name in the Paleo Hebrew is Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, or you will be destroyed. And with that, I want to give all praise, all honor, all glory to call Lord and Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem. I have the vast of honors to the elders and to my apostles, the ones that taught me this truth. Peace and salutation to the Akim, across the four corners of the earth, pushing this truth with faith and with sincerity, as well as risking their lives, as well as their freedom to do so, now more so than ever. Shalom to the Akim and Aqua for listening and learning. Lord willingly, this is edifying. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad in the land of other nations, appearing like the other nations, subscribe to this truth. To you I say shalom. Till next time, Lord willingly, shalom, shalom. Kwame Sharala and Mwak Lapabor.